You're such an asshole.
Consulting.com. How you guys doing? Hi, Aaron. So I'm 18-year-old high school graduate and decided to take a gap year to decide exactly what I want to pursue in college. That is the smartest thing you've done. Well, maybe not. You may have done other smart things, but it is a very incredibly intelligent thing to do. I worked as a car salesman and saved about $17,000, being as minimum as possible, living rent-free with my parents, but slowly became miserable, working 70 hours a week, non-stop to do so. So I quit the dealership. I took a job as a pharmacy tech, which has now sparked my interest in becoming a pharmacist. I asked my boss about it, and she gave me her honest, now becoming a pharmacist, not pharmacy techs. I asked my boss about it, and she gave me her honest answer, told me to either go software developer, engineering, or if I want to stay in medicine, maybe a PA, physician's assistant, or a nurse practitioner. She explained because of the oversaturation of pharmacists in the job market has made working conditions worse, understaffing, wages lowering, and retail pharmacy slowly becoming automated with mail package prescriptions. I looked into what she said, and from what I see and others I've spoken to, she was absolutely right, which leads me to choose between. She absolutely was right, which leads me to choose between pharmacist, PA, NP, and developer, which are all promising right now. I have a deep interest in all three, but being a first-generation college student, I just want the safest bet at this point. Also, if I did pharmacy, you don't need a bachelor's for pharmacy school, just 69 credits of prerequisites, which would mean it would take about 6 years for pharmacy, PA, or nurse, NP, so school time doesn't matter for those. Thanks a lot, Aaron. Love Bachelor Pad Economics. What do you mean you just need 6? You gotta get a doctorate to be a pharmacist, dude. And here's where I was confused. To be a pharmacy tech, well, technically you're one. If your boss is an actual pharmacist, she has a doctorate, she is a pharmacist, I would heed her advice over anyone else. Now, I went and I looked up the salaries and all that other stuff on the BLS for pharmacists, and they make damn good money. I think it was $150,000 median income. You're effectively doctors, is what you are. And a good friend of mine is also a pharmacist, and he makes good money. But you've already done your research, and if they're saying, yeah, don't go into pharmacy, are they saying don't go into pharmacy, the industry, or don't become a pharmacist? Because my buddy makes pretty good money, and he has not been a pharmacist for 10 years. He got out of the military, and then he went to pharmacy school. Now he's making good money. But I do a little bit more research, but your boss's recommendation, especially if she is a pharmacist, I would probably heed her advice. You're working in the industry, you could probably see it. So I would say yes, physician's assistant, nurse practitioner, or developer. Now, the problem is, okay, how do you choose? Well, you could go, the physician assistant, nurse practitioner, those are both 6 to 8 year programs. And the software developer, that you can do in 4. You can just go ahead and you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Credentialize your way up to that. But that is actually what college is for. Now, if you didn't have to take all these Marxist, leftist, indoctrinating bullshit classes and freshman comp because you don't know how to write anyway, then you could explore around. You could take some programming classes. You could take some nursing classes and stuff like that. And that would guide you to inevitably say, okay, maybe I'm more the nurse practitioner or physician's assistant route. But what I'm going to recommend you do, and you got a lot of homework ahead of you. They're all good fields. Even the pharmacist route, I'd still contend, but again, let's just take that one off the table. Physician's assistant, nurse practitioner, you're going to have to go into a field like nursing or medicine or whatever the required undergrad is for that, whatever the career path is, to then go get your advanced degrees to qualify, and you got to take your tests to become either a PA or a nurse practitioner. The software development route, I'm favoring because you don't have to deal with health. The health industry just fucking sucks. You got to deal with insurance. You got to deal with government regulations. You got to deal with inefficiencies. You got to deal with lawsuits. You got to deal with blood. You got to deal with drama. You got to deal with coked up crack addicts coming in who just shot somebody, and you got to treat them. Well, you should put a bullet in their head, but you got to treat them as equally, and even though they're going to just raise the bills for taxpayers. The psychological toll working in the health industry, that is something that goes unspoken. Because I know nurses, I know doctors, ain't none of them happy. I've worked in the hospitals, ain't nobody happy. And patients, especially as we're going to get down the road further and further, I mean, I've seen just scumbags, just dirt. Their lives are getting saved on the taxpayer's dime by people who didn't fuck up, who worked hard, went to school, be it the nurse or the doctor or all the various professionals in between. Get yelled at, lectured at, and da-da-da. And it's like, after a while, I'd be like, you know what? Society doesn't deserve that. I'd almost just avoid the health industry on that principle alone. It's a charity, it's a kindness. And most, okay, if you work at a kid's hospital, yeah, obviously, or pediatrics, all right, or geriatrics, and even then you got some asshole old people. I just think the entitlement of today's Americans, and how that's got to be draining and taxing. So I'd be more the type to go down the developer route. I think that would lead to, if you put the effort and time, certainly the same amount of effort and time you put into getting advanced degrees, either become a pharmacist, PA, or an MP, I think you'd be very well educated, very well credentialed, and you'd have a very promising career as a software developer, without the politics and bullshit that comes with the healthcare industry. Certainly without the regulation. The other thing with software developers, you can work remotely. That's another huge fringe benefit that you can't do, although I suppose machine mail packaged prescriptions, I guess the pharmacist could be away typing that in. But the other two, you certainly got to be there. Software developer, you're like, yeah, here's your code, I'm emailing it. Well, how do I know if you're working if I can't find, I quit, goodbye, here's this other guy's going to hire me and let me work from a beach in Thailand. Okay, I'm sorry, here's another $75,000 and I'll let you work from your beach in Thailand. Too late, you fucking baby boomer fuck. But I have to work because I didn't save up enough for retirement. So I'm heavily leaning towards the developer route. All that being said, this is something you got to figure out on your own. And you can do a couple things to figure that out. Anyone who's going into the medical profession, I say, go volunteer at a hospital. Just find out. 4 hours a week. Yeah, every Saturday afternoon, you go volunteer at the hospital. Or you go work at the hospital. Whatever. Figure out, because a lot of people, they can't stand blood. Or they don't like the depression. Developer, why don't you take some programming? There's plenty of online tutorial programming things, and you could start programming. Program a website, which technically isn't coding. I know, people, I know. But just take some basic programming tutorials online. Don't pay for them. There's plenty of stuff for free online. And see if you could program something in C++ or whatever. See if you could program a website, without using a template. And then a lot of people, they've gone into software engineering like, oh my God, it's the most boring job ever, I hate it. Well, you could have figured that out by taking one class. You could have, it's even worth taking one class at the local community college or online or wherever you can get a credit for it. Take it as an elective and you'll be like, hey, I like this. So you need to do a little bit more research and invest. It's like dating. You got a blonde, you got a brunette, and you got a redhead. And you're like, boy, this is really tough. Aaron, which one should I marry? It's like, well, hold on there now. Why don't you date them a little bit? Why don't you go date the redhead, then the blonde, and then the brunette? And then you'll find out which one's a little bit more fun. Or which one's going to be crazy. The redhead. The redhead will be crazy. So yeah, you got to do a little bit more research. And just as it's very wise you took a gap year off, this is also a wise expenditure of your time before you spend at minimum 4, on the high end 8 years of your life and God knows what in tuition. So you just got to do a little bit more investigative work, maybe a little bit more boots on the ground type of work. Actually go to a hospital, actually program some code. And I think after that it'll become apparent. But stating here and now, independent third-party observer, not even considering what your personal tastes and preferences are, I'd say software developer, because you're not going to be in healthcare and you get to work wherever the fuck you want. So, all right, that's it. You guys got questions? Cappy's got answers over at assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you all later. Toodles.